I got to tell you, yeah, what's the time right now? 8:02. First time ever that I ran a little bit late. And the reason for that is my computer decided to do a full update. You know that when you're like, you just need it at that moment. You need that device at that moment. And when you're like, last night I actually planned. So last night I did a bunch of work free to make sure everything was running, did a little bit of tests, made sure. And then this morning I got up, I had my coffee. I'm like, I'm gonna have a shower. And then I got down here about 20 minutes to, so giving myself ample time. And then my computer decides to go and do these things. Okay, if you're joining me for the first time, you've probably gone through some struggles like that. But my name is Frank Ferragini, aka Frankie Flowers of City TV's Breakfast Television. You can see me Monday through Friday, each and every day of the week from 6 a.m. through to 10 a.m. on Canada's, yes, it is indeed, Canada's #1 morning show where I'm wild about weather and passionate about plants. Each and every day I give you the forecast, but as well, I talk to you a little bit about gardening. I'm also on Cityline. And coming up this week on Cityline, you're going to see 2023 landscape trends. So what are people doing for landscape projects and what are the things they're focusing on? You'll see that coming up on Cityline. Before we get into kind of today's Q&A, and I'm just going to go over to the chat there as well. Lieutenant Governor, forgive me, David Onley. And to me, it was just David Onley because he passed away yesterday at age 72. When I joined City TV back in 2005, probably the warmest smile, the most gracious person in the newsroom at that time was David Onley. And I had the chance and the honor to, even on CP24, we used to do garden Q&As, and David would be the one that would moderate the questions with me and ask me the questions. And we really got to know each other because we sat there not only during that, but before the show, after the show, in commercial breaks. And yeah, he was just such a great person. For that, I really want to wish him, wish his family. He'll always be with us. For those people that pass away, they leave this world. And I truly believe this because my brother passed away several years ago, but he's still very much a part of the fabric of my life. But their legacy, their words, their teachings, their lessons, and their feelings will always be around you. So they may leave, but they're still there. You can still ask them questions and they'll still give you nudges and they'll still give you symbols. But to his family, to the Onley family, to David's family, I just hope everything is great. So let's move on, guys. And, because I know David would be like, okay, enough. Go help people. That's what he would say. And that's exactly what he did. Okay, so we got a couple things. Quick shout out this morning to Matthew. He has big news and he always does. I just got Cardinal Thomas Collins' autograph. Okay, Matthew has more autographs. Matthew, what I want to know is how many autographs you have right now. Paula Polly, good morning to you as well. Yes, indeed. I got your package. I got to tell you, yesterday between coaching hockey, running around, and then last night I had my two boys here and their friends. I haven't got a chance to open it, but that's what I'm going to do right after today. But thank you for that. Okay, let's give a good morning out there to Orangeville, and that's a good morning to Rosie this morning. Miriam, good morning to you. How are you? So good to see you. Good to see you as well. A good morning from Ancaster out there as well. So a couple things that I want to tell people about this morning, and I want to just actually show you. We're going to go to the Chrome tab. We're going to go right here, and we're going to go to a share. If you joined up, if you go to frankieflowers.com, you can see that you can actually join up and be a part of the newsletter. The January newsletter just came out this week. A little bit of welcome to 2023 and some of the different goals I have myself. There's also a link there to 2023 garden trends where you can see that article that's posted on frankieflowers.com. We're doing Good Morning Mondays. The first Monday of every month, we're going to be featuring some great organization person out there that's doing great things for community, like David Onley did for community. So if you have anybody that you know that you would like to feature or an organization, please email me. Elevated Eats, trying to work on that project at Yorkdale. Again, there's a tip of the month, but the one thing that I want to let everybody know as well for upcoming events, the Home and Reno Show. The Home and Reno Show is coming up February 3rd to the 5th. That's at the Toronto International Center. I will be speaking there at 1 o'clock on Saturday. Before me speaking is my good friend Scott McGilvery. So if you're thinking about home and reno projects, landscape projects, come to the Home and Reno Show. And for those on this today, if you share this, okay, if you just hit that bottom button there and it says share, and you share this to your community and tell them, hey, great, if you love gardening, hop on Frankie's Q&A. Fantastic. That'd be great. If you do that, it's going to give you it's going to enter you into winning some tickets to the Home and Reno Show, which is so fun. So on a selfish level, I'm getting you to share. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I want more people to join our community. But because of that, it's kind of like what I do with my kids. It's like, hey, if you do this, then yes, indeed, you can go to the movies. I'm not treating you like my kids, but I just rather be transparent and tell you what I'm trying to achieve out there as well. So that's the Home and Reno Show. So we got another good morning shout out there this morning too from Jane Willis. Good morning from Newmarket, from Penny out there as well. We got a good morning from Northeast Ohio this morning. Bill Kennedy, good morning to you. We got a lot of good mornings that are going out there. I'm looking for a question. Okay, here we go. Kimberly. Hi, Kimberly. Hi, my amaryllis bloomed 8 flowers. Is that rare? Yeah, that is a lot of bloom for your buck. And because of that, you should be extremely grateful. What that means is that bulb. So if you look at an amaryllis is a flowering bulb. That bulb is that storage facility for all those flowers and that storage facility for the energy of that plant. So that bulb, when it was in leaf, was given enough energy to put all that energy into the bulb to store so that it could bloom. So the lesson to learn is when it finishes its bloom, so you're going to have the green foliage that's there. After that fact, you want to continue to water. You want to actually fertilize when there's no flowers and there's just green foliage. That'll put energy back to the bulb. When that foliage starts to die off, that's when you remove the foliage, you remove the bulb, and you store the bulb to plant next year. Amaryllis looks kind of phallic, gotta admit. But amaryllis is just a fantastic indoor flowering bulb that flowers during the darkest days of winter. And I got to mention, tomorrow is what's quoted as Blue Monday. So if you want to get through your Blue Monday today, go out and buy a bouquet of flowers. Go out and buy a plant. Go out and buy something like a Sansevieria, like a mother-in-law's tongue, that makes you happy. And an orchid, and you're going to see me do a lot of different stories coming up on orchids for this month. And the reason being, an orchid's such great value. If you think about that, orchid can bloom for a month and even longer than a month. And, for many of the times, I'm seeing them about $20, $30 at the grocery store, the garden center, or the home improvement store. That's a lot of bloom and a lot of enjoyment for a long period of time, and way better than a bottle of wine. It'll actually make you feel better than that too. Miriam, you're very right. David Onley was a very wonderful person. May his soul rest in peace. David Onley was honestly just an exceptional soul. And I also got to mention that David Onley, at one point in his broadcasting career, did weather on breakfast television. So I'm kind of following in his footsteps. And he's somebody who I admire and who I hope I achieve to help others. That's the main thing that's out there, to use what you know and what you have to help others. And to me, it's motivating people to get out there and garden, to grow plants, to make them feel happier, to make them, do beautiful things and create beautiful things and create wonderful food that they've grown on their own, teach others on how to garden, because we know how to grow plants. It's a physical outdoor leisure activity. It's something simple, but I really believe that it creates happiness. Good morning from Walkerton, Ontario. I used to have a cousin that lived in Walkerton, Ontario. Here we go this morning. This is from Darlene. I'm just going to have a little drink of coffee here. I bought a weeping, it would be a weeping pussy willow, not a purse willow, tree yesterday from Walmart. It is grafted. Will it live if it's planted outside in the spring? So it's interesting that you bought, Paul, you bought it yesterday for it to maybe be shipped later season. The grafted pussy willow trees will actually overwinter with ease. The key about those is that they're extremely fast growing. So they're going to really need a lot of pruning once it gets rooted in. Year one, when you plant it after the frost is out of the ground, you can't plant it at this time of the year. And if it's already growing and you get it this time of the year, the problem is it'll be out of dormancy. And when you go to plant it, you would actually try to make it survive indoors, which is not the easiest thing, because we have low humidity levels, not a lot of light. and we generally overwater. So keep it in the coolest room. And you could actually, with that, if you got the pussy willow now, what I almost recommend is that even if you had a cold cellar or a fruit cellar, to just put it in the fruit cellar and water it on occasion. And then in spring, when ground frost is out, then you're going to plant it in the ground. But as I mentioned, they're fast growing, extremely fast growing once they root in. So year one, they don't really grow. But year two, you're going to start to see that head, that grafted head, really start to grow. And you can prune it 2 to 3 times per season with ease to keep it maintained. But they do get quite big out there. Okay, big shout out this morning. Good morning from balmy East Coast, Newfoundland. Carol, yeah, we've been getting some very weird weather right across the country. Even here in the province of Ontario, we've gone from 5 degrees to this morning. There's wind chills out there of -20. Not a whole lot of snow load. Not good for plants. I got to tell you, when we have this big variation of temperature where we go from warm to cold and then cold to warm, it doesn't allow the plants to really acclimatize. It's kind of like us, when we walk out after an extended period of milder conditions, which we've had last night and even yesterday, and today just feels extra cold. It's actually not extra cold. We're just not acclimatized to it, and your plants are too. So it actually puts a lot on them out there. I think this might even be the question. Yes, it is the same question that we had that was just asked as well. So let's go to something else. Good morning this morning from my friends in Burlington this morning. Wanda, sunny Burlington. Nice to see the sunshine, guys, by the way. My friend in Prince Edward County, Christine, good morning to you as well. May peace be with you. Good morning from the Essex Horticultural Society. That's out there as well. I think you guys sent me an email. I got to go look back and take a look at that. I'm in after this. My goal today is to get caught up on emails. It has been a lot of busyness that's happening out there. So try to break up my day. Last year, I purchased an air amaryllis. Wasn't sure what to do after storing in my cold room. It's planted, it's growing. Do you think it will flower? A lot of times the air amaryllis actually have a wax coating on the bulb. And sometimes when they do that wax coating, it actually impedes them from reblooming again. If it's just growing and it's sending a center stem up, so it's actually sending that center stem, you're going to bloom. If all of a sudden when it starts to grow, it already is shooting foliage, it won't bloom. It's actually one that you would probably most likely have to put in the compost pile that's out there. Wanda again. Good morning, Frankie. Hi, Frankie. How can we control clover that has taken over the lawn in Beaverton? Thanks. So clover is a broadleaf weed. Clover actually is something that is somewhat beneficial because it actually can even add nitrogen back into the soil. Clover, many people now are actually doing a blended grass, and in Beaverton, you may actually have a large amount of grass. So people are usually doing a clover and grass blend because clover is green and it stays. If you want to get rid of clover because it is a broadleaf weed, you can use something like Weed Begone will help you kick back on the clover. So you may have to do a few applications, but a few applications as well as doing some hand removal and then reseeding and or sodding those patches over. Sometimes the best is to do hand removal. The challenge is due to the cosmetic pesticide ban, which is a good thing because it's actually reducing the use of herbicides on lawns. That is really taken away many of the options that we used to have. So we used to have an option of applying something that would be something like called a Killex that had a 2,4-D in it. That was a selected herbicide that focused only on broadleaf weeds. That's no longer available. So once again, hand removal, a little bit of Weed Begone that you can use to control, thicken up the lawn and grow the lawn a little bit longer, or ask yourself the question, it is green, it's easy to walk on. Can we actually thicken up the lawn in those areas by overseeding, reseeding, and trying to make the lawn the more dominant plant and maybe live with the clover that's out there? I hope I helped you with that one as well. Bill Kennedy. Hey, Bill. From the holidays, we purchased 2 white pine tree balls, 10 gallon, 40 liters. Is it okay to keep them in the cold garage or should we keep them inside till spring? So what I would do with those guys is, number one, even though they're a white pine, so they'll be hardy for you. You probably want to put them, you don't want them indoors because they will actually flush out and they will become extra soft. But you want to kind of put them in an area of cold and then gradually acclimatize them to the cold and then eventually move them outside to a shaded location. So I would put them into the garage and try to kind of ease them into that cold that's out there. And it will be difficult a lot of the times. Like that's a big plant, 10-gallon white, like that's a big plant. You probably did a pretty good investment on those. But a lot of the times when we bring them indoors and we flush that growth, usually we should only bring them indoors for maybe 10 days at the longest. Even shorter is better. But as soon as you do that, you're going to bring them out of their dormancy. You're going to actually, so another thing that you can do, they'll put them in the garage when the temperature's warm a bit, and we see temperatures sitting at around 5 degrees Celsius. And I think if I wasn't mistaken, you're emailing us from Northeast Ohio. So when you're seeing the temperature outside about 45 degrees to 50 degrees, then you can move it outside for a period of time. You may have to slide them in and out, but we're trying to acclimatize them back. Here we go for another question. What are the best kind of pumpkins to grow and eat, says Wendy. Good question. So pumpkins, right now we're actually thinking about what we're going to be growing from the upcoming garden season. And this is a good time to dream and to think about, hey, the garden of 2023, what will it look like? What are my wants? What are my not wants? And if pumpkins are one of your wants, pumpkins first off are plants that get quite large. So you got to make sure that you have the space that's there. The best pumpkins to grow and to eat are generally what are referred to as pie pumpkins. And so you'll see those seeds sold for pie pumpkins, and they're a smaller pumpkin. And the reason why they're the best pumpkin to eat is because they have thick interior walls. And those thick interior walls give you a lot of what many would call as the meat, the flesh of that pumpkin, which is what you would make the pumpkin pie out of, or soups or whatnot. If you're looking for the production of seeds, pie pumpkins don't really have a lot of seeds in them. So you'd go to a larger pumpkin for the seeds. But if you're looking to make pumpkin pies, you're looking to do soups, you're looking for a pie pumpkin, make sure though that you have the space. Pumpkins, in terms of when do you sow them indoors, very quick to germinate. You're not sowing pumpkin seeds indoors until the middle of May. You could even just see them directly outdoors in the garden. But I hope I answered your questions that are there. But a good time. This is the perfect time to sit down and to say, what are we going to grow? You may be thinking this year you want to grow some lettuce that's out there. I will tell you that romaine prices and lettuce prices look like they're going to continue to be high, because in California, we've had those extended periods. So first we went from real dry. There was a virus on romaine. That's why romaine went crazy up in price. And so there wasn't a lot of availability. Right now, Arizona is actually taking over in terms of production of the romaine. But then when Arizona's temperature gets warmer, it'll switch back over to California. So California right now is supposed to be planting, but because of the amount of rain that they have there, they don't have the capacity or ability, just because of the weather, to plant. So that's going to put a delay in production and actually reduce the amount of supply that's going to be out there for spring. So we're going to have high romaine prices going into the growing season. It's just going to happen. So you may want to think about growing some greens that year. We have another question out there this morning. This one, good morning. I heard you can grow sprouts easily, but I'm not sure how. Sherry Poye, you can grow sprouts really super easy. And you can grow them indoors. So if you were to go into a seed sprouter, I'm just going to show you. So there's going to be a ton. Well, we can just go. We'll just give a shout out to many different people that are out there. But let's just go. So right now, I just went seed sprouter, and I'm going to pop this up for you. And this is going to be like you can buy them from your independent garden centers. You can buy them from anywhere. But this is the first one that came out there, and probably because they have a big engine. I'm just going to share the screen for you guys as well. And this is seed sprouter. There we go. I'm sharing right now. So we can go to, boom, Walmart, anywhere like this. This one actually comes, this is a 4-tray seed sprouter starting kit. So you can buy these kits that have everything in. The directions are super easy. This would just go onto your counter inside your kitchen. You don't even need sprouts to actually have light. So you don't even want to put them in front of the window. You want sprouts to actually be outside of light. So you want them away from the window. They will sprout rather quickly. And the reason why you do the 4 trays is you can actually time them. So the trays can be at different sprouting times so that you'd actually have fresh sprouts for a longer extended period of time. And then you're going to, once you harvest the one, you're going to actually then go to the next because it'll just be coming ready. And then you're going to clean the bottom and then go through. With sprouts, you need to be careful though, because you want to make sure that you're not going to have any disease or anything that's there. So you want to clean the trays after and wipe them with bleach. All you need is, basically sprouting trays like this. You can even sprout in a paper towel. So a little bit of moisture, a little bit of heat, a little bit of humidity, boom, you have sprouts. So super easy for you to do. And there's so many different places you can buy them. You can buy them online. Most local garden centers will have them. Some home improvement stores will have them. Many natural food stores, you'll actually see seed sprouting kits that are out there as well. But it's something that you can do and something that can get you motivated, and also something that you can add to your salads, add to your sandwiches, garnish on the top of a dish. Very nutrient dense that's out there. And usually you're waiting till they sprout to a 3-leaf stage, and that's when you're harvesting them. And you don't need light. That's the benefit. How you can grow food indoors in the winter is you can grow sprouts that are out there. That's a good thing. I'm going to growing sprouts. I'm going to do a little video on that. There we go. Okay. You guys are giving me ideas, which is good. Here we go. Martin, with the price of lettuce skyrocketing, look, we're just talking about this. Can we start our own in those mini greenhouses created by the use of disposable containers or pastries? So we can start sprouts, the sprouts even in. So when we buy, say for instance, I just bought some strawberries, right? So that clamshell, that plastic clamshell, that's what they call them. We can actually put a little bit of potting soil within. We can then put some sprouts on the top, some seeds on the top, moisture. As soon as after we're done watering, we close that lid. As soon as they start to sprout, we open the lid. Once they get to a 3-leaf stage, we just cut them off. Boom. We have some fresh sprouts that we can use as greens at that time. We can grow arugula the same way, but the only thing with arugula and some of the mescaline mix, the leafy greens, we will need a little bit more light. But indeed, the thing that you'll want to do is you want to put those on a plate, and or even if you were to put them on a baking sheet, because when you water, they have drainage holes on the bottom, and that water would go everywhere. So just be careful. But yeah, indeed, with the price of lettuce going this high, I'm going to write that as well. What are the options to grow that are out there? I'm a big lettuce eater, by the way. I actually generally eat a head of romaine every night instead of a bag of chips. I'm that weird rabbit guy. Yeah, it's getting pricey. Okay, everybody have a cup of coffee. Cheers. There we go. Okay. We got another one here. Good morning, everybody. Yay. Nice to have a second day of sunshine. Good morning from London, Ontario. It is, before yesterday, which yesterday was, what was the date yesterday? Let me just look at my phone here. Yesterday's date was January the 14th. The day before that we actually had real sunshine or even a sunset was December the 28th. Like that's an extended period of time of just cloudy conditions. So indeed, I would tell you that it is amazing to have some sun that's out there. Tanya, but usually Tanya, RD, registered RD that's out there. Good morning to you. Beautiful day to you. And thanks for the work that you do. My weeping fruit mulberry got over pruned. Now it won't weep. The branches stretch up and outwards. Is there any way to retrain it to weep? So if it got over pruned and it was pruned beneath the graft point, and that graft point is where so basically you have the stem, and then what they do is they essentially cut that upward growing tree off, and then they actually then graft on one that will actually then point the foliage down. So if we pruned it below that graft point, and all it is it'll go back and revert to the original stem. So it probably won't. I would continue to prune any of those shoots growing upright. I would try to prune them immediately out and to see if there's any ones that are growing down, and then you can start to retrain it. But it sounds like it was pruned below the graft point, so you may need to replace it unless you enjoy it. Here we go. Another question that's out there. Marlene, my rosemary has started to go brown. Any suggestions? So generally, I have a rosemary that I'm overwintering here, and I actually just went over to take a look and to see how she's doing. And Rose, the rosemary, yeah, she's doing really well. She's actually starting to sprout. But really what I've done is I put it where it gets nice bright light. I put it away from any heating vents. So I'm hoping you did the same. And it's in an area where there is some humidity. So even though a rosemary is a Mediterranean plant, so it likes to dry out in between waterings, it does like to have some humidity in the air. In the winter months, and you'll hear me speak about this a lot, is our homes are quite dry, especially when we actually have a temperature outdoors that now is minus 20 in the morning with wind chills. We're having our heaters come on more. So the addition of a humidifier could be a benefit. The other browning could actually be due to overwatering, and maybe there's some disease. So Marlene, if you can take some pictures of your rosemary, you're going to email me, frankie@frankieflowers.com. Once again, frankie@frankieflowers.com. And I can take a look at it and see exactly what's going on with that as well. Matthew, he's asking if we're going to do anything on breakfast television to honor David Onley for his life. We will definitely tomorrow do something to talk about David Onley as well. My good friend Alex Pearson, which you'll hear on 640 Radio, she's devastated. We've been talking, many of us that worked with David Onley in the city newsroom. I'm going to tell you, he was such a good person, such a kind, professional, intelligent, caring, ambitious person that really cared about rights for accessibility. We will do something for sure. And that's why I wanted to make sure that I speak about David Onley, because he's somebody who really super admired. Another shout out this morning from Perry Sound. Good morning to you. A little shout out as well from on the Hamilton Mountain that's out there. Good morning to you. Hey, you're on the Hamilton Mountain, Kathy. I'm on the board of directors for Royal Botanical Gardens. Everybody, in winter, what a great place to go for a hike. If you want to go for 27 kilometers or more of hiking trails that you can go out there and take in nature to make you feel better. Jen Neal, I'm near Brighton. Good morning. Just north of the 401. Just drove past you a couple of weeks ago. Should I have success growing pawpaw fruit? I'm really hoping to give a couple of trees a try. So the pawpaw fruit, I don't think you will be successful, but I'm just going to, well, maybe you will. I just got to look at hardiness zone for you really quickly. Hardiness, because zone 5-8. Yeah, so it's hardy, relatively pest free, and it's a tropical fruit for temperate climates. So you know what? The pawpaw, and this is just an article from, actually, I'm reading an article here from Toronto Master Gardeners. And actually, I'm just going to throw this up for everybody to read as well, because this is a great little resource as well. To me, it's like, hey, helping everybody out there. So we're going to give everybody shout outs. So this is Ask a Master Gardener. A catalog from Ontario Nurseries. The pawpaw, most of this variety is zone 5. Is it okay? The pawpaw trees is native to Carolina forests, which actually extends it to Canada. I've done a lot of work on that. And it is into Brighton as well. The 5B is too cold. I did see one spot mentioning some varieties can grow to zone 4. I would say to you is you sound like you're an adventurous soul that's out there. And I would indeed take the risk. It's not a sure thing, but what in life is a sure thing, guys? Really, what is? So, you think about it. Let's say this pawpaw that you're going to try to grow. I want you to look back over the last few weeks or the last year of things that you bought that were similar in price that lasted for a day. Something you drank, or maybe you did an event. Why not invest in the pawpaw? It's going to give you back if it works out. It's going to be a challenge for you. You want to put it in a sunny location. You want to put it sheltered from any northwest winds is what I would recommend for you. Really, that's the key. And it's something that's worth taking a try out there. So you are in the right hardiness zone. You're pretty close to Lake Ontario and Brighton. You're a little bit warmer of zone 5 because of the way that climate change has been happening, but I would be very secure in a zone 5. So I would go for it. Happy Sunday morning from Georgina, catching a quick listen before church. To all those going to church today as well, I hope you guys have a really good day, and just be grateful for your community, your church community, and be grateful for your community, and just look around in that room and take a look at the people out there that inspire you and make you feel good, and just keep those people around you more. We have a good morning this morning from Diane. A little thank you for always sharing your time with us. Cheryl, thank you very much as well. It's always a pleasure to be sharing time with you. We have another question and shout out this morning from Tracy. I'm in Perry Sound and have 2 pawpaw trees. How do we get them to flower and to fruit? Generally, the pawpaw, it needs, I'm going to do more research because, to be very, very truthful to you, I have very limited experience to zero experience with the pawpaw. So I got to do some looking out there. So anybody that's in this community, and we have so many people in this community, and you can see those questions right now on the Facebook comments. If you have experience and with pawpaw, I encourage you to get on there and just write in some advice and some tips and tricks for you. I'll read them out next week as well. But as well, what I will do is I get to learn. That's the whole idea. You're learning from me, but I'm learning from you. And so I'm going to write some stuff and find out more about this pawpaw tree. Good morning to you, Frankie from Penetang. Yeah, good morning. Have a great day and week. See you in the morning on BT. Cheers. Good morning from a place that's really close to me, which is Hollywood Landing, which is right around the corner for me. I'm going to take one more question, but we're going to give another couple of good shout outs there this morning too. Savita, good morning from Oakville this morning. Janet's saying a good morning out there as well from Curtis this morning. Good morning to you. We got TJ, I think it is, that's out there this morning. Good morning from Kawartha Lakes. Another good morning from Trenton, Ontario as well. And here's our last question. Can I start sunflowers inside? My packages say plant them outside. So you can start. Sunflowers are quick to germinate. So don't start them anytime soon. You just hold on to those packages. If you have packages of seeds or you bought seeds and you have them, best thing to do with the seeds is to keep them in a cool, dark place. Just store them in a cool, dark place and they'll be fine. The sunflowers, because they are quick to germinate, are sometimes easier to start outdoors after frost. But around the middle of May is when you can start them indoors with ease, or even the beginning of May, you can start them indoors with ease in a sunny room. And then you're going to plant them after frost warnings are done outside. They can transplant with ease, so you can start them indoors, but they are sometimes easiest as a direct sow. So maybe what you do is you start a few for fun indoors, and then you leave some others to start outside. Generally, what you'll find even is the ones that you started indoors a little bit quicker, that you're thinking you're going to get a jump on them, the ones that you do a direct sow outdoors will catch up. So if you have the space and you have the time and you want to have some fun, start them indoors. If you don't have the space, you don't have the time, do a direct sow that's outdoors. So I'm just going to go over here. Actually, I got to go back to chat. You guys just got to bear with me right here because I'm going to do something that's here. And boom. So once again, guys, thank you for joining this Facebook Live. It happens, of course, live because I'm broadcasting on Twitter. We're broadcasting on other things like LinkedIn that's out there. You're going to see me every week, Sundays from 8 to 8:30 here. If you want to know more, you want to join the newsletter, go to frankieflowers.com. If you want to email me directly, maybe you want me to come speak at an event or you have a garden question that you're just too shy to ask for, you can go right on there and go and email me, frankie@frankieflowers.com. For all those that join me on this Sunday, let's hope that you smile in sunshine today, that you have a great day overall. Be grateful for those that are around you, grateful for those that impact our lives, like David Onley, that impacted my life. And for those they will continue to honor, because we have to live our lives to honor those that have passed and live our lives so that we can smile and be great. And I hope you have a blooming great day from myself and myself and myself. I hope you guys have a great day, but have a great Sunday. Keep blooming.